Very good morning, students. So this is our second class of class 7 physics, and the chapter which we were discussing in the previous video was rest and motion. A body is said to be in motion if its position changes with respect to surrounding. A body is said to be in rest if its position does not change with respect to surrounding. So these terms we already discussed in the previous video. Just we will summarize what we have learned in the previous class. So if you consider a car is moving on a road and you are inside that car, and the co-passengers in the car seems to be at rest because their position is not changing with respect to each other. But when you see outside the window, you will find all the trees, shops or houses all are turning in backward direction. So from there you will get an idea that your position is changing with respect to car, with respect to shops, with respect to trees. So your car is in motion, but the co-passengers inside the car are at rest. Okay. So in this video I will give you some notes which you have to note down in your exercise book, and you can note it down as point wise or you can make it in question answer wise. Like for example, here you see, what is motion? A body is said to be in motion if its position changes with respect to surrounding. I have given in a point wise. You can note down in your copy like what is motion. When a body is said to be in motion, then you will note down this point, right? Similarly, when a body is said to be at rest, a body is said to be at rest if its position does not changes with respect to surrounding. Now, what are the types of motion? Translatory motion. A motion of a body is said to be translatory if it moves in a straight as well as curve or zigzag path. You see, translatory motion means what? A car is moving in a straight path. When a car is moving in a straight path, we consider it as rectilinear motion. But the same car, when it moves in a curved path, we'll consider it as curvilinear motion. So rectilinear motion and curvilinear motion, these are the types of translatory motion, right? So the types of translatory motion. So this was all about translatory motion, types of translatory motion, rectilinear motion and curvilinear motion. A car moving on a road is a translatory motion. Now let's see the next motion, circular motion. A body is said to be in circular motion if it is moving in a circular path. Circular motion can be of two types, that is rotatory motion and revolution motion. Now when we say rotatory motion, the spinning of earth on its own axis. The earth is spinning, it is rotating on its own axis. This was rotatory motion. And same planet, the earth, is moving around a sun, that is called revolution. Okay? So rotatory motion, an object moving in a circular path with respect to fixed axis of rotation, that is called rotatory motion. And revolution, an object moving in a circular path around any other object, that is called revolution. Example, earth spinning on its own axis, rotatory. Earth or planet moving around a sun is called revolution. Next you see repetitive motion. A motion is said to be repetitive if it occurs after a certain interval of time. After a certain interval of time means after a fixed interval of time. If a motion is occurring again and again, that is called repetitive motion. Now repetitive motion can be periodic, can be non-periodic. Periodic motion means if it is taking place at a fixed interval of time, then we consider it as periodic motion. Like the movement of a hour hand or a second hand of a clock, we consider it as repetitive motion. The movement of a planets around a sun, that is periodic, that is fixed. And non-periodic motion means if a motion of a body does not depend upon a fixed interval of time, then we consider it as non-periodic. Okay? So periodic motion, an object repeats its motion after a fixed interval of time, and non-periodic means an object does not repeat its motion after a fixed interval of time. That is periodic and non-periodic. Rotation of earth about its axis is periodic, and falling of leaves from a tree is non-periodic. We cannot predict when the leaf will be fallen from a tree. That is non-periodic. So this is the next type of motion, that is random motion. When the motion of an object is not following a fixed pattern, we say such type of motion to be as random motion. So if the motion of a body, if it is not following a fixed pattern, we consider to be as random motion. Okay. So don't get confused with the non-periodic motion. In non-periodic motion, it does not depend in a fixed interval of time, but it may be following some pattern. But here random motion means it is not following a fixed pattern. The pattern of that motion is not fixed. Okay. So example, movement of football during a game or a motion of a horsefly. Next type of motion, that is multiple motion. If an object performs more than one type of motion at the same time, then the object is said to be as multiple motion. So what is said here, let's take one example. A car is moving in a straight path. So when it is moving in a straight path, already we know what type of motion is it? It is a, yes, you are correct, that is translatory motion. So correct, the car is moving in a straight path, or we say it as rectilinear motion. So along with the rectilinear motion, the wheels of a car is also rotating. So you see, at a fixed time of interval, a car is moving in a straight path, as well as there is a wheels of a car is also moving in circular direction, right? So this is said to be as having a multiple motion at the same time. Two types of motion, two motion occurring at the same time, that is multiple motion. Wheels of a car or a bicycle have rotatory and translatory motion. So this was all about types of motion, different types of motion we have learned today. And next we will move to speed. What is the speed? Distance traveled by an object per unit time is considered as a speed. Okay, like for example, I am in a bicycle. I have covered 1 kilometer in 1 hour. Okay, 1 kilometer in 1 hour. So what is my speed? 1 kilometer per hour. So what is the formula? So the formula is speed is as equals to d by t. That is, speed is equal to distance by time. If the distance, if it is considered in meter and time is in second, the SI unit is meter per second. Okay. So likewise, if a car is moving or it has covered 10 kilometer in 1 hour, then it is 10 kilometer per hour is the speed, or 10 meter in 1 second, that means 10 meter per second. Okay. So types of speed, there can be two types of speed. One is uniform speed and one is non-uniform speed. Uniform speed means here, if a car has covered equal distances in equal interval of time, then the speed is said to be as uniform speed. Similarly, if a car does not cover equal distance in equal interval of time, then we consider it as non-uniform speed. Okay. So if you see here, a body covers equal distances in equal interval of time is called uniform speed. A body does not cover equal distance, distances in equal interval of time, then it considered as non-uniform speed. You see in a diagram now. This is an example. See, the car is starting from rest, that is 0 to 1 hour. It has covered how much? 10 kilometers. From 1 hour to 2 hour, it has covered 20 kilometers, and from 2 hour to 3 hour, it has covered 30 kilometers. See, increase in distance is 10 kilometers, again 10 kilometers. Time is 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. That means equal distance in equal interval of time. Okay, so that is why it is called uniform speed. Similarly, the car is starting, same car is starting from 0. First hour it has covered 10 kilometers. Second hour it has covered 25 kilometers, and third hour it has covered 30 kilometers. You see, increase in distance. First it was 10, then 25 minus 10, that is 15 kilometers. Again 30 minus 25, 5 kilometers. First one is 15, then 5. See, distance covered is not same, so we consider as non-uniform speed. Okay. So this was all about uniform speed and non-uniform speed. So next we have average speed. What is the average speed here? Total distance traveled by an object to that of total time taken is called average speed. Suppose you see, if an object is starting from 0, right? From 0, it has covered 1 kilometer in 1 hour, that is from A to B, and from B to C, it has covered 3 kilometer in 2 hours. Okay? Again from C to D, it has covered 3 kilometer in 2 hours. Or 2 plus 1, 3 plus 3. Okay? So what is the average? See, a body is moving from A to B, from B to C, and from C to D. So what is the average speed? If you calculate total distance, 1 kilometer plus 3 kilometer, 4 kilometer, 4 plus 3, 7 kilometer. Okay? This is the total. Now what we have done here, we have added here. Okay? Similarly, total time taken 1 hour plus 2 hours plus 3 hours. That means 7 by 7. That means 1 kilometer per hour is the average speed. Okay? So this is the meaning of average speed. Total distance by total time. Total distance you have to add by total time taken. Okay? So this was the average speed. Next we will see what is scalar and vector quantity. Scalar quantity and vector quantity. Before going to the topic, let's understand with one example. Suppose a train is moving with 120 km per hour, and in other case we say that a train is moving 120 km per hour towards south. So what is the difference between two sentences? In the first sentence, I did not mention any direction. That means just I said a train is moving with 120 km per hour. So that means I am saying it is a scalar quantity. But when I say a train is moving with 120 km per hour and it is moving towards south, then I mean here it is a vector quantity. That means I am indicating here direction. Okay? So similarly, here you see scalar quantity, those quantities which only depends on magnitude, not in direction, is called scalar quantity. Vector quantities, those quantities which depend upon magnitude as well as direction, is called vector quantity. That time the train is moving with 120 km per hour and towards south. So south is the direction and 120 km per hour is the magnitude. Magnitude means value, size. So it is vector quantity. But when I say the train is moving with 120 km per hour only, I did not mention here direction, that means I mean here it is a scalar quantity. Okay? So what are the example of scalar quantity? Speed, distance, mass, these are scalar quantity. Vector means velocity, displacement and weight. Okay? So this was all about scalar and vector quantities. Okay? So in this video you will be I will be showing some questions. This one you need to copy in your exercise book. Okay, you can pause the video and you will be noting down this. Also you will write the distinguish between, that is the difference between speed and velocity. From here you see left hand side it is given speed and right hand side it is velocity. Okay. So one thing you note here is speed depends upon distance and velocity depends upon displacement. That is the shortest distance between initial and final position. This is called displacement. Speed is a scalar quantity, it has only magnitude, and velocity is a vector, it has both magnitude and direction. Its speed changes when an object slows down or moves faster, and velocity changes when an object slows down or moves faster or changes direction. Speed cannot become negative and velocity can become negative. That means speed is always positive quantity, it cannot be negative, but velocity can be negative, it can be positive. Okay, and same way you will solve this true and false also in your copy. You will note down this one. Okay, true or false.